Welcome to episode 4 of the Our Voices podcast, where we give our student athletes a platform to voice their opinions on popular topics today. With it being Black History Month, we want to hear from our African American student athletes on their thoughts and experiences growing up and being here in Salt Lake City at the University of Utah. I am joined today by Khaleese Davis from the Utah Women's Track and Field Team and Dasia Young from the Utah Women's Basketball Team. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
No problem. This is awesome. I'm so excited to get started today. So today I want to talk about what made you you. Dasia, I'll start with you. Okay. Now, I know you're from Arkansas, Jonesboro, right? Mm-hmm. Tell me a little bit about Jonesboro.
Jonesboro, Arkansas. It's a mixture. I've grown up with white people, Black people, Mexicans, any color. Used to singing it. I stayed 30 minutes away from Memphis, Tennessee, somewhere where I spend a lot of my time at. Arkansas, I would say it's kind of similar to Utah. It's some differences, just with like the race-wise. It's just being more white people here. But yeah. Arkansas is just a country place, just like you'll probably imagine it to be. So.
Heard some stories, but you say you're really close to Memphis. Yeah. What made you go to Memphis so much?
Well, they're really known for their food, so I had to go there for food purposes. I have a lot of friends there. That's where like basketball is really big at. Like the Memphis Grizzlies. So I used to go there as a child, to watch the games when I had the privilege to. It was just a spot just to be at, like, just because, comfortable spot, I should say.
Right. I love it. Memphis Tigers, too. So Tennessee is just huge for all kinds of sports. Honestly, Nashville is one of my favorite spots. Yeah. I love going down there, especially during the summer. They have just amazing vibe. But the culture aspect, the food, I don't think people really understand that.
Oh, so good. So good.
It's the down south living. But Khaleese, let me talk to you. So you have an interesting upbringing. Now, you were born in my hometown, Las Vegas, right?
Yes, sir.
Las Vegas is the best. But you grew up in Arizona. So tell me a little bit about that transition from Vegas to Arizona to now Utah.
So I was, born in Vegas, what I'm saying? And then my little brother, he was born. So we kind of sat in Reno for a little bit. That's also in Nevada. Mm-hmm. So that was, if I can remember, I was a little young. It was mostly white people in that area as well. But then my parents, it was cold there, so they said, let's go somewhere warm. So we decided to, go to Arizona, and we stayed there for like most of my childhood. And it was, mostly white people growing up around that area. So I didn't really, I didn't really think much of it because it's like all I've ever known. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. And then as I, got a little older, I transferred to a different high school, and my high school was. Every girl on my track team was a black, and there was a lot of Black people there, and I've never experienced that before. So it was a totally different environment for me because I've only had that at home. Like I would go to school, and it would be white people, but when I went home, it would be my family. So it was different to go be at home and then have that exact same environment when I went to school. So like it was just a different type of transition.
Yeah, no, so I definitely want to hit on that because I think a lot of people need to understand why it's beneficial, to be around people that are like you, right? And growing up and not knowing the same, last week we had Maya on. She was born in Atlanta but grew up in Spokane in a predominantly white community. And then, at a young age, you're kind of like, I don't really know what's going on. But when you get older, things happen and you're just like, you're questioning things. So there comes some identity stuff. So like, I want to talk about that feeling and growing up around people that didn't look like you and then people that did look like you and developing you and your personality. And like, did that have any effect on what you thought about yourself or what you thought about the community? Like, did you ever second guess yourself?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, growing up, I feel like I was always second choice, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like I could never like really resonate with the people. Like, you know, like I didn't have like friends that got me on a certain level. You know what I'm saying? So as I went to another school, like my high school, and there was a bunch of black girls on my team, like I felt like comfortable in my skin. Like my coach was a black coach. There was teachers, like the other athletes, of the boys too. So it was like, I felt like more accepted. You know what I'm saying? I felt I don't know like how to explain this, but I felt more sure of myself. Like, how do I say this? Like,
just confident.
Yeah. Like we kind of, and people, whether they like in a predominantly white community, I feel like my features, like, I don't know, like they was look, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, your hair is different, you know what I'm saying? But when I'm in a black community, like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
So, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
It's normal. And then they would like, it was like uplifting to hear people say that about you, you know what I'm saying? Instead of just hearing it at home. Like it's when other people are, you know, admiring, you know what I'm saying, what you look like.
Right. Dasia, what about you? Did you have any of those type of issues growing up where, you know, kind of questioning, you know, certain things about yourself?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like my school was mixed race, and I had a lot of friends, all like every color. Like it didn't matter. I was just friends with everybody. And I used to hate, I was like with Khaleese, like I used to hate my hair because it was curly. And all my other friends, like my white friends or my Mexican friends, like they had long, straight hair. And I was like, my hair could be long if I just straighten it. And I remember I fried my hair, and my mom was so mad at me because I took a flat iron, and like, you know, with black people hair, if you flat iron it too much, then it messes up your curl pattern. And I knew it would mess up my curl pattern, but I mean, I wanted straight hair because I felt like that was
You were almost
beautiful.
trying to do it.
Yeah, on purpose because it would be straight, and I loved my friend's straight hair. And it's kind of sad thinking back on it because now I love my hair, but yeah, as a child, I don't think any child should have to want to change their physical appearance at that age.
Yeah, and that's just the comfortability with you being around, you know, certain people, you know. And so if you had grown up around more black people with more curly hair, that wouldn't be something that you would want to do.
Yeah.
Got you. Now, Khaleese, like when you went to Chandler and you were around more black people, you said that you kind of felt different. You know, it was more confident. What are some other things that brought out that aspect of yourself, that confidence? Like, did you do better in school? Was you just genuinely more happy? What other things came out when you were around more black people?
It was just like, we just kind of related on, you know, some certain subjects like the music, you know what I'm saying? We would listen to the same music, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I go home, listen to this music, and I come here, we understand, like, we grew up, like, in the same way, you know what I'm saying? So, I can't explain it. I just felt more like we understand, like, our struggles, you know what I'm saying? Like, we kind of understand each other on that level, like, you know, Arizona, like, yeah, the school was, I had a lot of all black girls on my team, and, like, the kids was black people, but outside of the school, you know what I'm saying, it was a predominantly white community. So, you know, I feel like we all had to learn how to, like, code switch. Y'all had to learn how to, like, do these things. So when we can, you know, when I go to school and we can sit down, we can talk about these things, like, we understand each other. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it wasn't just me experiencing this, or, like, they'll say something about, like, oh, or, like, even I felt more comfortable in my skin. Like the black girls, like, I never, you know, growing up in other schools, I never seen girls with, like, box braids or, like, that was so different to me. I go to my first day of school, they got these beautiful braids and, like, they got the clips in their hair.
I want my hair like that.
Yeah, and I was like, dang, like, I only wore it like this. And they was like, Khaleese, with your hair? Like, you don't do your hair? I was like, I never did that before. So it was, like, nice to, like for them to just, like, to be confident and try new things, like, in the style, too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I never... Going to a black school was, like, the first thing for me to see, like, they got dressed up every single day. So it was, like, nice to, like, you know what I'm saying, like, put on your outfit, like, the style, like, the hair, the way that they carried themselves. Like, it was just, like, I felt more confident, like, you know what I'm saying, going to school and just, like, relating on that level with all the girls and stuff like that, and the guys, too.
Yeah, no question. I mean, growing up, you know, even for me, it's more of your first impression thing. That's kind of what they teach you. My mom always taught us, like, your first impression is your best impression.
Yeah.
Or, your first impression is your reputation. And so that's what you want to carry with you. And I want to say these things, and I want to highlight that because of, a lot of people in the Utah community should definitely, like, understand that on where the comfortability lies. And being around, like, personal. So, like, these guys would grow up 18 years here, and this is why I respect the Church of Latter-day Saints community, because they have, when they become of age, they encourage, the young males and women to go on missions and get into different environments and understand what it's like. So, but it's different for, Black kids who grow up in white communities when you're at the adolescent age and you're trying to develop who you are. You're learning different things as far as when you're 18, you kind of pretty much know who you are pretty much and then going and getting different experiences. But I coming here to Utah is kind of what I want to talk about next with you guys and what your experience was like that. What was it, Dasia? What was it with Utah that you were worried about when you came here? And then when you actually came here, what was your impressions?
What I was worried about? Well, first, moving so far away, I'm like, 26 hours away from home? Mm-hmm. Never been that far ever in my life. So that was one of them. Utah, it being a predominantly white place, never been in such an area where it's like, I don't know the exact percentages, but like 8% white, Black people. So like I had like other people like of my color with me, but I had more than I knew that I would have here. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I guess I was just scared to be like this far out here by myself, like without guidance, like my mom, like right there beside me to help me like through all the problems that I could probably face on my own out here.
Right.
And like when I got here, it really wasn't as bad as I imagined. Like, your fears can just let your imagination just race and just all these possible scenarios. But everybody's been kind to me here. Mm-hmm. I haven't faced any like problems that I have like back home. So I'm grateful for that. So.
Yeah, no question. I think there's a lot. Even when I first came here so long ago, I'm not going to get into how long ago it was. But when I first came here, there was a lot of people always saying stuff about Utah, like, watch out when you get out here, do this and that. And then I get out here and like people are just amazing. It's just like, what the heck was everybody else talking about? So it's more of I have to experience it for myself to truly understand what's going on here. But the Utah community is awesome. But just knowing that you're going into a community where you don't have a lot of people that look like you, so there's always going to be some questions. What about you, Khaleese? What was it like for you to come here? I know you grew up in a predominantly white community, then went to a Black community. Now you're coming back to Utah. What was that like for you?
Well, definitely hearing it from my parents, they was like, oh, it's going to be different because now I live in, Atlanta, so this is a predominantly Black community, you know what I'm saying? So they was like, now we here, now you got to go back to what, we was in Arizona. And I was a little nervous or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I was just like, I looked at, then I was like, athletics, there's going to be Black people. There's going to be people that look like me. So I'm going to have people that I can, relate to. So I was nervous, but when I got here, it, like Dasia said, it really wasn't like what I thought it was going to be. People they're nice, they're genuine. They, they accept you, So I never really had no problems with nobody here. So like I was prepared if anything happened, but I knew like if I wanted to make friends, like Black people, there was people here that I could, make friends with. Definitely.
And it's crazy. When you get here, you're going to find so many other people that are just like you, especially on sports teams. I think that's what's so awesome. And you get tons of people that have the same goals, same missions, same aspirations, and you can find that comfortability. But I want to talk to you guys kind of about, Black perception, in sports, in community, whatever that is. But as far as like how people take it when you show like different emotions. In the past episodes, we talked about me, I have an example of when I play professional sports of being the angry black guy, angry black man. I can't do certain things because it's taken differently. Now, do you guys feel the same way if women show, emotion in sports or just emotion in the streets or anything like that? How are they taken? And I'll start with you, Dasia. What do you think about the perception of black women in showing emotion?
Yeah, I agree. I feel like women are portrayed the same way. Black women are just thought to have an attitude. Like whatever we do, it's like it's like an attitude or in a negative way. Especially like with sports. Like when I played, like I can think of like experiences from like high school where like, say I'm going for a loose ball and I bump into this other girl. They're like, oh, she's trying to hurt my baby. I'm like, no, ma'am. I was just trying to go for this ball here. Like I wouldn't try to hurt anybody on purpose, like ever.
Right.
Like that was just me just, playing the game that I love, just being passionate about it. And my action was just automatically portrayed to be aggressive or to hurt somebody or, I don't know, just to like have like a bad rep. Just because I feel like, because I was black. But
so you feel like others didn't have that same type of treatment. You thought like people who weren't black, like you could act a certain way and it's fine for them, but for you it was different?
Yeah, like for them it was passion. Oh, she's passionate. Oh, she's really into the game. Oh, she's really putting her heart out there. But if I do the same thing, it's like, oh, watch her. Like, what is she doing? Like she's a little wild. Like she's a little too aggressive. And it's like, I'm doing the same thing.
Right.
I'm just trying to put myself into something that I love and not have to worry about what you think about me while I'm doing that. So.
Right. What about you, Khaleese? Do you have any experiences with any differences in people who should be the same as you, but just because they're a different color skin, are they treated differently than you?
Yeah, for sure. Just bouncing off of Dasia, talking how black women are portrayed as having like an attitude. Like, I've experienced that. Like people think I'm being passive aggressive or I'm just like, in reality, I'm just, I'm happy to be here. I'm passionate about what I'm doing. I want to, give everything I have. And sometimes, I don't know. They just, like Dasia said, they just portray it as something that it isn't. So I always feel like I have to downplay my emotions or I have to sit on them to make other people feel comfortable and stuff like that. And like coming here, sometimes I feel like people might not, talk like me. So I feel like they'd be like, whoa. Or, so I've heard that before I got here. They was like, oh, black girls have attitude. And I was like, that was different.
Like, what do you mean?
Like, what you mean? I don't have attitude. This is like, I guess I just come across that way.
And then you kind of get an attitude.
Yeah, then I get an attitude.
I was fine until you said that.
Until you said that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I just always feel like sometimes I feel like that stereotype of angry black woman, they kind of put that on me. So sometimes I feel like I catch myself like, Like I'm going to calm down. So I don't feel like I don't make people uncomfortable,
Yeah. So I want to talk about that now. Like, how do you handle, and I think this is huge. A lot of people don't understand of how people need to handle racial conflict. So I want to ask you guys, how do you guys handle racial conflict? Something happens within sports. Somebody's saying something on the court that's racial. How do you guys handle racial conflict? Khaleese, if you coming into, let's say, the Utah community and somebody's talking about you and almost trying to get a rise out of you to do some stuff. And so how do you go about handling racial conflict?
To be honest, I don't give them time of day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not bothering with you. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to get me off my game. You know what I'm saying? That's what you want to do, and that's how you want to take it, but I'm never going to stoop to your level. So, yeah, I've experienced that for sure, but it's happened to me a couple times where I'm just like, way my parents taught me, you just kind of, move on, don't let them, you know what I'm saying? So, especially in sports, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like if you stereotype as like the angry black person, if I sit here and I come back with something, I might, take the fall for that. So right. I'm just like, you know what, I'm going to do what I got to do because I worked hard to get here. And there's nothing that you're going to say to me that's going to, affect me or bring me off, what I did to get here.
Got you. Right. You got a goal in mind, and I just know that this is not helping my goal.
No.
So I'm definitely not going to stoop down to your level. I love that. Dasia, what about you? Say within sports, somebody's calling you out your name, racially though, because everybody says sports is a mental aspect. There's, especially football, they'll tell you it's 15% physical, but 85% mental. But like, if somebody was to bring race into it and make it racial, how do you take that?
Well, I would try my hardest. That I'm not perfect. Just as the person who's calling me those names aren't. And I try to remember that. I try to remember situations. I've been in that situation before when I was younger, and I did not handle it well. I'm not going to lie. I was young. I was hot-headed. I was like, what? Because I got angry. I reacted. And I tried to remember how I felt after I reacted to that situation. Like Khaleese said, you have to be stronger than whatever is tempting you. So, I try not to let it bother me. If anything, I'll just walk away from the situation because I know myself. I know if you come at me just as a person, I might come back at you because I'm what's up? Because, I feel like I'm a nice person. So I would like to be treated with respect. So I feel like the only thing that I could do in this situation is just walk away. Just avoid it, because sadly, anything that we do could be seen 10 times worse than what they just said to us.
Right.
And I don't want to be, your mom would tell you the second person to hit back always gets caught.
Always.
Always. And I know, because I used to hit my sister all the time. So I always say, I'm not going to feed into it. I'm just going to walk away, just let it be, because at the end of the day, they have something within themselves that they need to work on.
Right.
They're not really targeting me. There's some other things that's going on. I'm just not going to feed into it.
Love it. And you're completely right. And how you guys have to handle emotions, there's steps you have to go through to do that, right? It's let me realize the situation, right? Mm-hmm. This isn't going to help my goal. So my next step is to make sure that I walk away from this, and just acknowledge that person, or whatever they're doing, is not working with me. And so definitely love how you ladies handle yourselves, because that's it. Later in life, whenever it is there's going to be situations that arise, and a lot about the people who have allowed us to be here today. The civil rights activists, the people over time, they've had to endure some amazing things, not amazing, but some cruel things, but they did amazing things to overcome them. And it's simple. You guys have the mindset that they had in doing that. So with talking about some of those other people, who are some of the people that have inspired you? I love Black history. So this being Black History Month is just awesome. But I want to know from you guys, Dasia, we'll start with you. Who are some people that you admire within Black history?
Okay. So this will kind of be hard. So if we're not going to take the athlete road, I would say I always looked up, as a little girl, you learned about Ruby Bridges when she went to, the school. I felt like I looked up to her because as a child, I was very immature. There's no way. Like I said, when I was in a situation like that, I reacted terribly. If somebody called me out my name, I'm calling you out your name. But as a kid, she did all that as a child in front of a world that was so harsh. But she still, she kept going. And I don't know if her mom was telling her, Ruby, this is bigger than you. This is whatever. But she was so brave to have just withstand all those obstacles and just, persevere through all that. That's just some type of maturity and strength that I don't think I ever could do at a young age like that. So that's somebody who just always stood out to me as a kid, learning about her in school.
Yeah, give me a little background on Ruby Bridges. Where's she from? What situation was she in?
Where's she from? Jesus, thank you for this school, the school test right here. She went to it was school in Little Rock, wasn't it?
In Arkansas?
Arkansas. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So close to home. Okay.
Yeah. So that's why I hit home, because I learned about it. It was like in my area. It was during the segregation period, and the whites and the blacks, they all went to different schools, different like waterfronts, all that type of stuff. And she basically said, no, you're not going to put me over here just because of my skin color, because I deserve the rights to learn what you learn. Like we're the same people. Like there's nothing different than us but our skin color. And she went to a school, predominantly white people. She would walk into, I remember it was like pictures, like she would walk into the school and it would be, this was really sad to me, it would be adults, like white adults that would stand out there with signs and throw stuff at this little black girl who was harmless.
Right.
And she would walk into school just trying to learn, and they would just tear her down, torment her just for wanting to get education. And eventually, like, they went to, what's it called, like court, because they tried to get her out of there and all that type of stuff. But she, I don't know if she, did she beat it? Like, did she, like when she went to court, I don't know what the court,
the ruling. I think she did. Ruby Bridges beat her case because she was just an amazing young girl, as you said. Yeah. But, it takes a lot of strength for somebody, especially her age. Mm-hmm. I think last week we were talking about the sit-ins and how, these kids had to do it at 5, 6, 8 years old, be trained to handle some of the wicked things that this world was bringing. And Ruby Bridges was one of them. And there's so many other people in Black history that have done some amazing things that allow us to do the things we're doing today. Mm-hmm. And Ruby is one of them. I love that she's from Little Rock and real close to you. But Khaleese, what about you? Who are some people in Black history that has inspired you?
Honestly, I feel like mine is so generic, what I'm about to say right now, but like I always like Malcolm X. Like, I don't know, my dad always talk about him, how, saying he wasn't like the, typical, what's his name? Martin Luther King Jr. Mm-hmm. He had his own like way of approaching stuff. So I, like, I don't know, I kind of always, resonated with Malcolm X a little bit. Yeah.
I love Malcolm X. He took a bold approach. Yeah. And especially for me, I first learned about him through that long movie with Denzel back in the day. But Malcolm X was definitely a prominent figure with the advancement in Black equality in America. And, he was another man who took a lot of abuse, from people, and just moving forward, pushing the needle, making sure that we are all here to be equal. So I absolutely love that. But as we're winding down, I kind of want to talk with you guys about what are next steps with you guys. As Black History Month comes down, you guys live here in Salt Lake City. What are some things that you'd like to see, from the community? If you guys are community leaders, picture yourselves as being responsible. Either you guys are coaches or public officials or something. What sort of change would you like to implement in society? As far as programs or something that would help push this need for equality forward.
I got a little. It's not really like a. Maybe like a community, like the athletic community can throw this, and we throw like a barbecue or something, and we have like stations, like, like just like how do I say this? Like, there's this TV show that I watched, it's like called, and it had like this where it was like a predominantly white community in like California, and like this Black woman, she threw like it was like a Black party. It was like, there was the Black music. They had stations with like Black art, like Black businesses. Like, I would like to see, like, I don't know many, I know there's like this, there's this one fashion line that's out here, and I just learned about it right now. Like, I want to see like we throw like a thing where like there's Black, food and like art or like fashion line. Like, I want to learn about the Black businesses. And I want like the community to learn about this. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, come together and like as a community, and we just like meet each other and like, talk about, our background, stuff like that. And I feel like when you like get a sense of, where someone's came from or like what they like, I feel like it brings people closer together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love that. They do some things, but I don't feel like it's publicized enough to get the reach, right? For you to know about it, right? Like, just in the last couple of years, Juneteenth has become more of a popular thing, and I love that. But I do think that there needs to be something not just catered around Juneteenth. There needs to be something more throughout the year, not just one incident. I think there's something that highlighting these cultural experiences is something that I think a lot of people would love, white, black, or other. I think that, getting to know, these other races and other experiences would be terrific. So I love that. I love making it more normal to have these type of events, barbecues, or just cultural community events catered to the culture. So I love that. What about you, Dasia? What would you implement?
I agree, like with the whole idea of it, because like if we were to do that, like say it wasn't just Black people that came out, say it was like any race, like it doesn't matter, because like all of us coming together in one sitting, that would be nice, and just to acknowledge that it's like Black people, it's okay to come to Utah, because like, so when, I don't know if you said this, but like when you first came over to like Utah, like you looked at the rosters, like looking like to see how many Black people are here. Let's see, could I go here? Could I fit in? Like I want it to be like that, like where no person of color should have to second guess going to Utah. Like it just should be like when I committed, somebody was like, "Oh, you're going to Utah." Like I don't want that to be said,
right?
Like anymore. Just
right. It's like Utah. I know that place. They got some amazing stuff going on there. So something that Utah's wants to be popular for is holding some of these community events that showcases other cultures.
Yeah. Exactly.
Love that. Well, thank you, ladies, for joining me today for the Our Voices podcast. It's been absolutely terrific getting to know you both and telling your stories and experiences. And this is awesome because you guys are the leaders of the future. And what you guys' thoughts are and your experiences are, I think we can learn from and forever be growing. So thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. For all of you Ute fans and listeners out there, I want to thank you for listening to the Our Voices podcast. We hope you were able to listen and get some understanding from these athletes and their experiences during Black History Month, and hope you continue to push the needle forward for equality. Thank you.